Καλημέρα σε όλους, καλώς ήρθατε. Σας καλωσορίζουμε στην ημερίδα για τα συναισθήματα. Θα ήθελα καταρχάς να δώσω τον λόγο στον κύριο πρόεδρο του Μουσείου της Ακρόπολης, τον καθηγητή κ. Δημήτριο Πατριμαλή, να σας καλωσορίσει, να μας καλωσορίσει και θα προχωρήσουμε μετά στην συνέχεια της ημερίδας.
Αφού ξεκινήσατε ελληνικά, να συνεχίσω και εγώ. Αισθάνομαι σαν να είμαστε οικογένεια τώρα, έτσι όπως είμαστε σχετικά λίγοι, και το εκτιμώ ιδιαίτερως αυτό, γιατί νομίζω ότι έτσι μπορεί να προχωρήσει πολύ πιο ουσιαστικά αυτή η συνάντηση. Καταρχήν θέλω να πω ότι ήταν μια λαμπρή ιδέα από τον συνάδελφο τον κύριο Χανιώτη να ασχοληθεί με τα συναισθήματα στην αρχαιότητα, με την έκφραση των συναισθημάτων στην αρχαιότητα, και θα ήθελα να υπογραμμίσω ιδιαίτερα και να συγχαρώ τους τρεις επιμελητές της έκθεσης στη Νέα Υόρκη, τον κύριο Χανιώτη, τον κύριο Μυρονόπουλο και τον κύριο Καρτσά. Φυσικά ο πιο τρομερός ήταν το Ίδρυμα Onassis που υιοθέτησε αυτή την έκθεση, η οποία είχε μεγάλη επιτυχία στη Νέα Υόρκη. Νομίζω ότι έγιναν και πολλές παράπλευρες εκδηλώσεις και παρουσιάσεις. Εμείς στην Αθήνα επίσης με ένα τρομερό τρόπο δεχθήκαμε, και ειδικά η κυρία Τσιότσου και η κυρία Παργεντά μας πρότειναν να γίνει έκθεση στο Μουσείο Ακρόπολης περίπου 50-60 μέρες πριν από την προγραμματισμένη έναρξη. Ήταν βέβαια ένας χρόνος πολύ πιεστικός. Αυτό που προσφέραμε εμείς ήταν να υλοποιήσουμε το εκθεσιακό πρόγραμμα της Νέας Υόρκης, δημιουργώντας ένα κάπως διαφορετικό σκηνικό μέσα στο μουσείο, ένα σκηνικό το οποίο χαρακτηρίζεται από μία φτερωτή με λάβαρα, τα οποία έχουν το κόκκινο χρώμα, αλλά έχουν αποχρώσει του κόκκινου χρώματος από το ανοιχτό έως το σκούρο, για να δώσουν την αίσθηση της ποικιλίας των συναισθημάτων, και αυτό το εγκλείσαμε σε ένα πλαίσιο το οποίο είναι γκρι και το οποίο αφορά τον ορθό λόγο. Δηλαδή βάλαμε τα συναισθήματα, τα εντάξαμε μέσα στον ορθό λόγο που τελικά επικρατεί. Επίσης προσπαθήσαμε, δημιουργώντας ορισμένες ψηφιακές παρουσιάσεις, να χειραγωγήσουμε τον επισκέπτη έτσι ώστε να μπορέσει να δει τις λεπτομέρειες των έργων τέχνης. Γιατί αυτό που είναι σαφές είναι ότι δεν πρόκειται για την έκφραση και για τα ίδια τα συναισθήματα, αλλά είτε για τις άμεσες εντολές που έδωσαν οι αρχαίοι να γίνουν επιτύγνιες στήλες, ή για τα όστρακα τα οποία γράφονται για τον οστρακισμό κλπ, που είναι η ενέργεια η οποία προκύπτει και το αποτέλεσμα, και σε πολλές περιπτώσεις δεν είναι καν ούτε αυτό, είναι η ιδέα του συναισθήματος, η περιγραφή του από συγγραφείς, κυρίως τα ομηρικά έπι, και στη συνέχεια η αποτύπωση, όπως πιστεύουμε συνήθως, στη μεγάλη ζωγραφική και μετά από τη μεγάλη ζωγραφική στην αγγεωγραφία. Ιδιαίτερο ενδιαφέρον είχα προσωπικά ο ίδιος, γιατί πολύ παλιά είχα ασχοληθεί με αυτά τα περίφημα χωρία του Ξενοφόντος, όπου ο Σωκράτης εκφράζει την απορία εάν είναι δυνατόν να απεικονίζεται η ψυχή, και κάνει μια συζήτηση κυρίως με τον ζωγράφο Παράσιο, από τον οποίο εκμεέβει, ο οποίος καταρχήν αντιδρά αρνητικά, μα πώς να παρουσιάσει την ψυχή αφού η ψυχή δεν έχει ούτε σχήμα, ούτε μέγεθος, ούτε χρώμα. Και με τη μεευτική του μέθοδο ο Σωκράτης καταφέρνει να τον κάνει τον ίδιο, να πει πως η ψυχή εκφράζεται από το πρόσωπο, από τις κινήσεις του σώματος και πολλά άλλα, τα οποία είναι εργαλεία του ζωγράφου. Νομίζω ότι από ό,τι μπόρεσα να έχω ως αίσθηση από τους επισκέπτες της έκθεσης, αυτή η έκθεση προσήθηκε σε ανθρώπους οι οποίοι πραγματικά ήθελαν να μάθουν κάτι περισσότερο για το θέμα αυτό. Πιστεύω ότι κυρίως ήταν καλλιεργημένοι επισκέπτες και μου έκανε επίσης εντύπωση ότι στέκοντα για πολλή ώρα μπροστά στα έργα και διάβαζα και τα αναλυτικά κείμενα. Η έκθεση έχει ένα πολύ μεγάλο βάρος με τα κείμενα, το οποίο όμως είναι αναγκαίο. Πώς μπορείς να κατανοήσεις κάτι εάν δεν διαβάσεις τα σχόλια, ειδικά σε αυτή την περίπτωση. Νομίζω ότι η έκθεση πέτυχε το σκοπό της. Η συνεργασία μας με το Ίδρυμα Onassis είναι συνεχής, έγιναν και πολύ πετυχημένα παιδικά προγράμματα. Τελικά ήταν εξαιρετικά θετικά τα ως τώρα αποτελέσματα και πιστεύω ότι θα είναι έως το τέλος. Ευχαριστώ τον κύριο Σιφ που είχε την πρωτοβουλία να επικοινωνήσει μαζί μου ώστε να οργανωθεί αυτή η εκδήλωση. Νομίζω ότι το να δει κανείς τα συναισθήματα και από άλλες πλευρές, αυτό το πλησίασμα των συναισθημάτων από πολλές θέσεις βοηθάει εξαιρετικά. Είναι ένα καινούριο κεφάλαιο. Πάντοτε βέβαια μιλούσαμε για συναισθήματα στον αρχαίο κόσμο, ποτέ όμως συγκροτημένα και συνθετικά, όπως τουλάχιστον προκαλεί αυτή η έκθεση για τους ειδικούς και τους μη ειδικούς. Επίσης και τις άλλες δύο σχολές θέλω να ευχαριστήσω, την Ολλανδική και την Νορβηγική, και εύχομαι να πάνε όλα πολύ καλά. Είμαι σίγουρος για την επιτυχία αυτής της συνάντησης. Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Good morning from me as well. I'll switch into English because that's what I was prepared for. I know English is not as a deep language as Greek is, and it cannot elicit as many emotions as the Greek language does. But allow me to express myself in English this time. First of all, I'd like to thank the Acropolis Museum and Dr. Professor Patermalis, the Norwegian Institute, the Belgian School at Athens, and the Netherlands Institute for taking this initiative to do this great work today. It is great to see you all here today, inspired of a world of emotions which touches us today and highlights the eternal depths of human nature. Capitalizing on the word emotions, we at the Onassis Foundation have to share two intense emotions. We're extremely elated and extremely proud to be here today supporting this initiative. Allow me to explain why. We're happy and thrilled because when we started discussing this idea in our New York Affiliate Foundation a long time ago, we could not imagine how far this could go. Having the mission of promoting Greek culture in the very competitive New York City and acting as a cultural ambassador, we tried to develop an exhibition that would be different, original in the theme, and intriguing. When we have to show the best of Greece, we also have to cooperate with the best or some of the best in Greece. So we chose Professor Kaniotis, Professor Milanopoulos was here with us today, and Dr. Katsas to be the curators of the exhibition in New York City, and also help here at the Acropolis Museum exhibition. We could imagine that this is an interesting thing. For sure, for the academic and the scholarly community it is, but we could not imagine its success among cities and audience. That's where the pride stems for. And then the idea to bring it to Athens came up. It is hard to imagine how difficult it is to move an exhibition to another city and another museum, but Professor Patermalis and his team made it come true, and we were very thankful for that. But we felt that the Greek audience had to experience this great and different exhibition and in practice learn a different way to immerse in the concept of an exhibition. Professor Patermalis and the Acropolis Museum were the best partners and the most efficient, we could say, in this adventure. In record time, it went on air. Almost 24,000 people have visited this exhibition so far, and considering the communication campaigns and the impact it also has, and we have in place, many more are to come. All this experience, this emotional roller coaster, was extremely inspiring for us, and we do hope that this inspiration will trigger a great workshop today. Thank you very much.
In my turn, on behalf of the Belgian School at Athens, I would like to welcome you all to this one-day conference on emotions. It is a great pleasure to be associated with such prestigious partners like the Acropolis Museum and the Onassis Foundation. And it's a great pleasure to collaborate with friends from the Netherlands Institute at Athens and the Norwegian Institute at Athens. When we first started working on this project of this workshop in early summer with my Dutch colleagues, we weren't aware of the arrival of the exhibition in Athens. And when we learned this happy coincidence, we considered that the Acropolis Museum should have been the ideal context for the event. Professor Pandrimalis immediately accepted our proposal, as did Mrs. Panagiotakou of the Onassis Foundation. Both are to be thanked, as well as my colleagues Amy McCree and Dr. Delia Georgiaki for their precious help. And without their help, this event wouldn't have been possible. Last, but certainly not least, I would like to thank the director of the Belgian School, Professor Jan Driessen, for accepting this conference in our yearly program at the very last minute, and his support throughout its preparation. It is a pity he cannot be with us today due to obligations back in Belgium. I wish you all a great day. Thank you.
On behalf of the Netherlands Institute at Athens, I would like to welcome you at this one-day conference on emotions. I'm very honored to co-organize an event in such a wonderful institution as the Acropolis Museum. And in this beautiful place we also have an interesting contradiction. The exhibition, beautiful exhibition Approaching Emotions, gathered top-class objects from antiquity where emotion plays an important role, while the treasures of the museum itself seem to subscribe to Winkelmann's classical Greek ideal of edle Einfalt und stille Größe, even German. On the first floor, dozens of devout statues smile their archaic smile in the presence of equally tranquil divinities. On the second floor, on the frieze, Athenian citizens move in a dignified procession towards an informally chatting group of gods on the frieze, while even the violence of the centaurs on the mantelpiece is suffered in silence and grace. The ferocious centaurs, however, do at least express emotion. In general, the ugly faces of mythology often owe their brutishness to the abundant show of feeling. The subjects of the pediments should have caused some surprise at least, but although not a lot of the central figures has been preserved, I'm quite sure that the upheaval will have been subdued and also very dignified. This day, we hope to gain more insight into this elusive, but at the same time so very visible and omnipresent phenomenon of emotion in antiquity and in culture in general. I thank our Belgian and Norwegian colleagues, the Acropolis Museum and the Onassis Foundation for making this day possible. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Norwegian Institute at Athens is very proud to be co-sponsoring this conference, Approaching Emotions, Interdisciplinary Perspectives, and to do so jointly with the Belgian Institute at Athens and the Dutch Institute at Athens. We feel very, very grateful that we are invited here by the Acropolis Museum and in this wonderful space, and we also want to thank the sponsor, the Onassis Foundation. And so this brings us all together here, and it will be a great day where we can reflect further on this critically acclaimed exhibition that has been a very big success in New York and is already proving to be so as well here in Athens. In the book The Rise and Fall of Soul and Self, authors Martin and Baresi maintain that although there were previously disparate views of the self and personal identity in ancient Greece, it was not until later that Christians needed to make sense of the post-mortem resurrection of human, that the continuous tradition of reflections emerged on kind of the self. The self is very close to emotions, and in this type of scholarship there has perhaps been less awareness or attention given to expressions of emotions in materials older than the stage when the notion of self developed. In the current exhibition, emotions are expressed, but with perhaps
emotions have today, when emotions are often seen as a main source of self, or for young people even main authority in value judgments. Bodies could feel pain, heat, pleasure, longing, passion, also in the ancient world, of course. And although these emotions were related to a different kind of self-experience than the modern 21st century self, they continue to speak to us today. Ancient masks express different emotions, and to try them out must have been a way to invoke or explore different emotions. As said, the Norwegian Institute is pleased to be part of this collaboration, and we also hope that the planning process, for which I want to thank the participants from the Norwegian side, especially the Ratsjotaki. We hope that this planning process has been the first step towards a closer collaboration of events similar to this one in the Acropolis Museum and perhaps other places around in the Institute sector here at Athens. So we wish everyone a good learning experience. Thank you.
Okay, it's me again. I'm very worried about you because of what they say about the present situation and because you went suddenly away from me. I do not touch with pleasure, neither food nor drink, but I'm continuously sleepless day and night, having just one anxiety about your safety. Only my father's care keeps me on my feet. End of quote. This letter and its wording sound very familiar and modern. What is expressed here is universal and common to all humans. In fact, this comes from Egypt, and it was written on a papyrus dated to year AD 117. Alimi addressed this letter full of anxiety to her husband, Apollonius, affectively called Adelphos, who was absent during the Jewish revolt taking place at this period. Logos is only one part for the expression of emotions. I quote, "Emotions in antiquity can only be studied through the written word, Yanni," which means that a lot of information, such as facial expression made visible in painting and sculpture and in the stereotyped masks of the theater, and tone of voice are not available, and that more often than not, we study the changing terms people use to express feelings rather than the feelings themselves. Just to quote the opening lines in the recent article by Willy Clarisse. Some recent books, like the pioneer and excellent Unveiling Emotions, edited by Angelos Chaniotis back in 2012, The Doing Emotions History, edited by Susan Madden Stearns in 2014, or the equally excellent Emotions Between Greece and Rome, under the direction of Douglas Kern and Lauren Falkerston in 2015, offer possibilities both methodological and technical to go beyond the word, to use Clarisse's terminology, and unveil the emotion per se. The exhibition Approaching Emotions, first presented in New York and now present in the exhibition room next to us, are the clear demonstration that emotions can be understood not only for our contemporary societies, but also for the societies of the past. Visual elements are used to complete the word. The icon comes to complete the logos, and the emotion appears in front of us as a striking reality. Understanding the emotion of past societies cannot be the simple result of a curiosity in the sense of the French curiosité, but rather than an exercise to test modern expressions of emotions, trace their evolution, and better understand our own reactions to this very same stimulus. As a numismatist and historian of ancient economies, I would like to focus on the anxiety of elites and politicians when obliged to deal with debt crisis and refer to an example. The speech held by Jean-Claude Trichet, the then president of the Central European Bank, in his famous address of 12 March 2010 at Stanford is informative. I quote, "I started with Tacitus' example of bold policy action. I would like to end with Cicero's Fides. There was a famous controversy between Julius Caesar and Cicero 80 years before the crisis described by Tacitus, the one referred in the year AD 33. Rome at that time was struggling with a debt overhang. Caesar proposed partly to remit the debts. Cicero strongly opposed such action. He argued that debt forgiveness would shake the foundations of the Roman Republic and destroy one of its most important values, fides. Fides is trust, confidence, and good faith, end of quote. These attitudes, the emotion of anxious elites to restore financial stability without undermining the founding values of a system, sound very familiar to our ears of Europeans living in the post-2008 European Union. The agonia of Cicero to save the values of his dear republic by extending the same agonia of the indebted persons was opposed to the populist, in the original Latin sense of the term populares, proposal by Julius Caesar, who wished to remit the debts in order to please the plebs. I'm not referring to this example judging the validity and value of the opposed financial and economic policies. In both cases, the political and social cohesion between the elites and people disappear, giving place to the domination of all negative, in quote, emotions related to war. If, on the other hand, the emotive situation considered in this example sounds familiar to you, it is not a coincidence. Emotions of anxiety and happiness are meant to alternate in human history with all their nuances and variations. This quest of emotions will be explored in today's conference. Leading specialists from different fields will guide us to a world of emotions considered through their respective disciplines. The conference is, schematically speaking, divided into two large parts. First, an analysis and approach of emotions in antiquity through visual media, philosophy, and philology. Then the second part considers emotions through the lens of social and cultural history and psychology or psychoanalysis. From past societies, we move to our familiar contemporary world. From archaeology, our original vehicle, we step on psychology after using philosophy, philology, and cultural history in our way to unveil emotions.